Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Feature Fridays. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. This is Jackie. I am co-founder of Uplifter, Jackie Kwan, that is, not just some random Jackie on the street. Today,
I recognized you.
you didn't see me? Come in. Anyways, with me today is, of course, our product expert, Garrett Trod, and today we are going to cover off custom registration pages, which is one of the very robust features that we have here on Uplifter that really allows you to make Uplifter very much so your own and really create custom registration flows very specific to what it is that your club or organization needs to capture the information that you need and direct your members to the places that they need to go to register for their programs. Without further ado, Garrett, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm going to leave it with you and show us all things custom registration pages.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So as Jackie noted, we're going to be taking a look at custom registration pages. To do so, I have logged in as John, just a standard site admin. And on our site here, we're going to be working with our demo design site. And here we have, just as a sort of goal for us today, we have our kids programs page here. And on the kids programs page, we've got essentially a flow controller. So this is going to control the flow of people using our site by bringing them to this page when they're interested in kids programs, and from there they'll also be able to navigate to a beginner's program or view all the programs, etc. So this allows us to control where and when our users are interacting with certain pages and sites. We're going to do the same thing for our intermediate page here, and that way we're going to generate a custom registration page similar to what we have for this all kids programs here. So when we navigate to this kids program and I select to register for the all kids programs, what I'm going to see is a custom registration page that is focused and narrowed down to just the kids program. So this is a curated list of programs that are associated with what that user is interested in. And so we've controlled the flow of their experience for that. We're going to do the same thing for the intermediate programs. Now my admin John here, he's been hard at work. He's created the page already, but what we need to do is create the register page. When I click on this button, nothing is happening. So what we need to do is make a page and link this button to that page, and that's our goal today. So what we
You need to click it more.
Yeah, a couple more times. No, nothing else. So what we're going to do today then is we're going to create that page and we're going to link that button. And in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is make a brand new page. We can do this in several different locations. So the main one is going to be along this main menu bar here. You see this new page option. Additionally, we can hover over an element that already exists on the menu, and we can go to the bottom or just the sub page here and select new page here. Now, if we're going to copy what we've got with the kids program, that's exactly what we've done. We've selected new page under the kids program title, and we've added this kids registration page. So we're going to do that for intermediate as well. I'm going to select new page, and when I do, I'm going to be greeted by a slug request. Now, slugs are the end of your URL. So here we see /intermediate because we're on the intermediate page. That's the slug that I entered when I created this page. Now, when we go to the kids registration page, we'll see that it's at /kids/programs. And for this particular instance, I'm actually going to copy and sort of flow with this exact same standard here. So I'm going to use programs as my slug here. So I'm going to hover over intermediate programs, select new page, and I'm going to do programs. And by doing that, I now have /intermediate/programs. And the reason I have that is because I went from the intermediate tab here, which had the /intermediate, and then I created a new page under it, which gave me /programs. Now, it is standard practice to enter in your slug as all lowercase letters, but that doesn't stop you from adding capitals if you really want to, but standard URLs are all lowercase like this. Now that we're on the page itself, we've generated the URL, but we'll notice that we haven't really generated any content. There's really nothing here. And if we hover over intermediate, there's no menu item here. So we know we need to take some extra actions. The first thing we need to do is the edit page details at the top right-hand corner. When we select this, we're going to see a little drop-down menu. The first thing we want to do is enter a page title. For this, let's do intermediate programs. And actually, my apologies, intermediate registration. There we are. And next, we're going to want to specify a page template. And this is really the key element of our page setup. In order to create a custom registration, we want to utilize the registration full page template. By selecting this template, the system's going to ask us, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, we are. So by selecting this template, we'll notice that the page has now changed to a registration page. Now, it doesn't look quite the same as our kids' registration page just yet, but we'll make some changes. We're going to go back to the Edit Page Details section, and there's one other element that we want to work with, and that's the Show In option here. The Show In option is essentially allows you to specify where and when your menu icon is going to show. In this particular instance, because we're actually using a sub-page of another page that already exists, the only toggle we have here is Sitemap. And this is essentially a visibility toggle. If we uncheck that and we save the page, what we'll notice is we've now generated the page because we hit save for the first time, but we'll also have it as a dash hidden page. So it's now here under the intermediate programs, but it's dash hidden because it's not on the sitemap. If we go back to Edit Page Details, however, and we check Sitemap, and now we save again, our page is still there. It's still available under Intermediate Programs, but now it doesn't have that dash hidden, and now it's publicly visible and publicly available. So now that we have this page here, we want to make a few small changes to this registration page because our goal is to align it visually with the kids' registration page that looks like this. So we can see there's a fair bit of difference between these two visually. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to filter this page so it only shows the items and programs that we want to offer on this particular page. This being the Intermediate Programs page, that's what we want to filter to. In order to do so, we're going to look for the Calendar View button, and then we're going to select the Edit icon just above it. When we do so, we'll be presented with a filter pop-up. Now, these filters are very similar to the ones that you would see on the regular page here. The main difference is these filters are essentially temporary, whereas the ones on this pop-up are permanent. So you as a site administrator, you get to select these filters and they will apply to the page, and your regular users, when they navigate to this page, won't be able to undo them or remove them. They'll only be able to work within the restrictions and the filters you've applied. So in our use case here, we see a full list of programs including kids, but we're going to select the categories filter and we're going to select intermediate. And by doing so, we've applied the filter, and we can now see the list of programs we can expect to see on this page, which are all of our intermediate programs. Now, in this particular instance, this is all we need to do. But as you can see, if you did want to narrow things down even further, you could definitely do so with the category levels filter, the season filter, and you can absolutely, of course, apply more than one element from the same filter. That's totally okay if you want to have, your CanSkate and your StarSkate together, or your Kinder Gym and, CanGym, whatever. It can all be in one place. I'm going to remove the kids there, and we're going to select to update. We're going to skip these elements just right now. We're going to select to update that, and now we have a nice list of just our intermediate programs. But as you can see, it's not exactly how we want it to be. So we're going to do one more thing here. We're going to select the edit icon just above Calendar View again, and we're going to utilize these options here. The main one being the template. Right now, we're using default group list with subnav filters, but we're going to change this. We're going to change it to simple list with top filters. And when we do and click update, we now have a very different visual feel and look and layout to the same registration page. So this is the same information, but it just is presented in a different manner. So it's still our intermediate programs, they can still register, but it looks a little bit cleaner than it did previously. Now, there may be instances where you want to use other templates, but because we have such a small specific list of programs in this particular instance, this is actually a really good template for us to use because it's really focused and just gives them just those few options to choose from. Now, once you're happy with whatever you've done with the page, you want to be sure to hit Save Page, especially before testing out anything else. Don't click links, don't click buttons. Be sure to click Save Page and then proceed with those tests. Now, to pop back to the filters, just to check out those other little filters that we had available to us, I'm going to select this edit icon here. And the last few that we had, we can also change the pricing model. So right now it just shows the total, but we can change it to installments or not even show the price if we don't want. And we can also choose the sorting option, so maybe by SKU, category level, what have you. In this particular instance, program name maybe makes sense, or actually probably category level makes sense. And that way they see from the lowest to the highest. You will also have the option to suppress your remaining spots in terms of the number of positions that are available, as well as suppress the waitlist countdown. So when you have 5 or fewer spots or 5 or fewer waitlist spots, you won't see those numbers counting down if you choose to suppress them. I'm going to click Update, and as always, I'll click Save Page. So now we have a page that we can navigate to if we hover over Intermediate and go to Intermediate Registrations. And here's our lovely page. Now our last step today is going to be linking our intermediate landing page to this registration page to control the flow and experience of our end users. In order to do that, I'm going to copy the URL. Now you'll notice that I'm not copying this end little bit. There's no harm if you want to. Let's just copy the whole thing. But I chose to copy everything before the question mark. It's up to you what you choose. When you do that, you can then go to the intermediate page. I'm going to open it in a new tab here. And I'm going to scroll down. And as we tested, click it a few more times. No, still nothing working. Okay. So I'm going to click to edit this section. I'm going to click once on the button, and we'll see that this link icon highlighted. If I click away from it, there's no link. If I click on the button, there's a link. So I'm going to click that link icon. It's asking me for a URL, which right now is just a pound sign, a hash sign. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to paste in the URL that I just copied. So that was that full URL there I just copied, and I pasted it in there. I can make any other changes that I might want to the button or the styling or the text, and then I can click OK. And again, very similar to the previous page we were just on, before you test this button and test if it works, please be sure to hit Save Page to keep your changes. And then we can scroll down and click Register and be brought to our custom registration page. So that is custom registration pages in a nutshell. As you can see, there's a lot of ways to sort of control the flow of your registrants and make sure that people are landing on focused registration pages so that they're not sort of scrolling through hundreds of different programs depending on how large your repertoire is. And I believe I heard Jackie unmute herself there. Did you have any other comments you'd like to add, Jackie?
I did unmute myself, but just because I was going to get ready to wrap things up. Were there other things that you actually wanted to show us? Did I cut in too quickly?
No, that was everything. That's everything.
No, you burned through everything really quickly and very concisely. So, and got through all the features. So, yes, custom registration pages, they're very, very useful to really focus how it is that you want to bring your members to your site and have them register for very specific elements. We have a number of other features that really do help you create custom registration buttons and custom registration pages, even more so than this. But this is sort of the easier way to quickly put a few pieces together. I'm sure we will be hitting our features such as add HTML, add to cart buttons to our pages on one of our next Feature Fridays. That was like a really broad hint. I think I threw down for a topic.
For our next topic.
Maybe not our next one, but soon, right? I'm just
yes.
Going with the flow. So
I believe our next topic actually next week will be season copying and batch editing programs. It is getting to be pretty close to that time of year again where people are going to be introducing their next season if they haven't even already done so. So that's going to be a huge help to a lot of our clubs.
Yes, it's going to be great because a lot of things too is that a lot of clubs don't know that there's a couple little tricks and tools that you can actually use in the season copy and batch edit tools, and this really does streamline a lot of that, especially a lot of our clubs that maybe have been on Uplifter for years and years and years and didn't know that we introduced some of these features. So please join us next Friday again, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook Live. Thank you again for joining us. I am Jackie Kwan, co-founder of Uplifter, and with me is Garrett Trott, product expert. And if you ever have any questions,
Starting again?
Hold on. Oh, is it Groundhog's Day? Is it Groundhog's Day? And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at support@uplifterinc.com and like us here on Facebook. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.